The iPhone 15 Pro Max features a new 5x telezoom lens, but they cut off the 3x telezoom lens. Welcome to this video. We want to talk about this a little bit, but yeah, don't fear, I don't have any iPhone here in my video. I just have the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V and the Huawei Mate X3 here in my possession. And what we want to do is to check out from a photography point of view, does it make sense to leave out the 3x telezoom? And is maybe the Xperia 1 Mark V's variable 3.5 to 5.2 times zoom a better solution than directly jumping from 2x to 5x? Let's try this out. So why do I have those two phones here? Like I said, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V has the benefit of having a variable zoom lens, 3.5 to 5 times zoom, where the Huawei Mate X3 basically has the same camera setup as the iPhone when it comes to the photo length, physical photo length. So we have the 24mm, we have a 30mm ultra wide angle, and we have this 120mm 5x zoom. And is it any good for portrait shots? We will try this out with this little scenario that I built up in here, where you can see I don't have my dog because he's running away all the time, but I have like this little toy stuffed animal sheep that I will use as my subject for photographing, with the various different photo lengths that we have, like the 3.5 times zoom to see how good portrait works with this and why people swearing on this is the best, and then 5 times, and then we can compare again 5 times against 5 times. So let's get started. Here we have the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, and I want to show you how it's looking like when I want to do a portrait shot. So first of all, let's choose 2x. This is like 2x magnification, sometimes a little bit too far away, especially if you want to see face details and so on of a person, in this case of the sheep. So 3.5 times is the perfect ideal photo length in this case. If I go now to 5.2, you can see it's too much maybe cropped in there. Sometimes. So let's take a look at the 3.5 times, and I take a shot here, and then we have this shot. And now let's compare it with the Mate X3, and you can see much closer up, like it's the same position, it's the same position here of my tripod. It's much closer up, and this is something where for a human you might get like uncomfortably close with this kind of lens. So what you have to do is just move the whole tripod a little bit back to get like roughly the same composition that you had with the 3.5 times zoom, or you have to like go into the digital kind of zoom, which is like this, and then you can get roughly the same kind of cutout there. But this one is digital, and let's put it again where it was before. Let's do the digital crop here, and we compare the Xperia's real physical lens with the digital crop here that you have to rely on when you don't want to move. But let's move as well, and let's do a 5x then again, and we have to readjust the whole scene a little bit, so we have a different kind of background maybe as well, and the background compression. And you can see I'm still too close, so I have to move a little bit further again, maybe a little bit there like this, and there we go. Maybe roughly the same, but we definitely get a different kind of compression in this shot. Let's take the photo and let's compare them on the computer, and you will see what I mean by this and why the 3.5 times might be a little bit more pleasing to the eye. And just because I can, I'm also trying out, of course, my Mate 60 Pro that has this 3.5 times zoom, and this can also be used for portraits, especially if it's close focusing distance. So we will check this out as well. So here we have the two shots, and which on first glance looks better to you? So yeah, let's just zoom in and check it out. It's clear that the right one looks a lot better than the left one. The left one looks a little bit artificial, especially when you zoom into the eye. And the right one is more natural. So yes, the right one is the Sony Xperia with its 3x zoom, and the left one is the Mate X3 with its 3x crop on the main camera sensor. When we compare this with the 5x, you can see, first of all, we have a completely different picture where we have like a different compression and a different, yeah, it looks kind of different. We have a different background for sure. And of course, we have a different angle of view there as well. When we zoom in here, you can see, yes, it is sharp. It is looking good, but it's looking different as well. As you can see here. It's looking different. The perspective is a different one, and it doesn't feel so close as you are so close to the person as with the 3x zoom. This is a very, very interesting aspect of this kind of thing. And yeah, it is sharp. It is maybe even sharper than a 3x zoom. Let's check out the 5x zoom. So we have 5x against 5x. You can see also the difference. We're standing at the same point that the Mate X3 is apparently cropping in a little bit on the sensors here, where the Xperia is not doing this. And again, I think because we don't have so much contrast, yeah, the Xperia is a better choice. But this is like camera to camera difference there. But it's a different kind of picture, as you can see here, with different kind of background and a different kind of viewing angle. And that's important because this is something that you will see more often. These pictures at 5x portrait shots are almost non-existent and don't look as pleasing and as good and as like intimate as this 3x zoom. So Apple's way of choosing 5x here, and the same way with Huawei on the Mate X3 choosing 5x zoom here, might be not the right one when you want to take portrait shots. What we'll take a look at here right now as well is, when we have the Xperia, is maybe the Mate 60 Pro, where I also did some shots there. And this one here is the close-up shot. You can see it has a different kind of vibe as the further back one, the 5x shot. The 3.5x shot here is the same 3.5x as on the Xperia. And you can see how sharp this is, how good this looks like. Very comparable, and how intimate you feel with the person. Let's just imagine it as a human or something like this, of course. And this one is like, it feels further away because the compression is different, so you're not so close to the person. It is, yeah, just what it is. So this is now the 5x, which is still impressive when you compare it with the Xperia, where the Xperia is a lot softer there. So yes, you can do it this way around with very good cameras. You can do good 5x zooms with 3.5x, yeah, physical cameras. But the other way around is a bit harder, because then you have to jump from the 1x to the 3.5x, and the 1x are usually optimized for and looking good for 2x zooms, maybe 2.5x, but that's the edge. Afterwards, it is digital zooming, it is digital enhancing. It is not just a crop on the main sensor where you can play with all the pixels that you have, the 48, 50 or 52 megapixels that you have. So this is, I think, a very, very important and crucial thing. This is why I think the iPhone 15 Pro Max 5x zoom, as well as the Mate X3 5x zoom, is not very good for portraits. The only thing that you can do very good with those smartphones, with the Mate X3, iPhone 15 Pro Max, is 2x zoom, because there the crop of the main sensor is still bearable and it's still physically possible to see or to use every pixel that is like available, and you have then a good portrait shot. But this more intimate kind of shot that you get with 3x, 3.5x, 3.2x zooms is not there. And this is why I think for portrait shots the iPhone 15 Pro will surpass the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and the Mate X3 will be behind the Mate 60 Pro or the Mate 50 Pro or the P line of series there. So this is my short little video explaining the different photo lengths, and I hope you understood this. If you have some questions, you can write them down in the comments. If you have some hints, tips and tricks regarding photography on smartphones, write it down there as well. That's everything. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Until the next time. Bye.